I'd like to welcome in now attorney and legal analyst Rachel Fiset. Rachel, thanks for joining us on this breaking news here. So just talk about what happens now. Is this case closed now and going forward?
The judge has to rule on the motion to dismiss, and the judge will likely dismiss the case where the prosecutors are requesting that she do so. And as to procedure and as a sitting president, I think this case is over. So Donald Trump's victory really was the death knell for Jack Smith's prosecution against him.
All right, so Rachel, we know, though, he is currently the president-elect. He will, January 20th, take office. He will be the president, but he will be the president for 4 years, not for forever. So when he is out of office, is there any way this case could come back around?
Really see how the case comes back around due to statute of limitations. So if there was some sort of agreement where the case would come back around, but this behavior happened 8 years ago, they brought the case, they dismissed the case, and they will likely be outside of the statute for most of the behavior by the time Donald Trump is no longer president. So as to this exact case, I don't see it resurfacing.
And what happens now with Jack Smith? Does he step down before Trump comes into office? Because we know the president-elect has essentially already said he plans to fire him immediately.
I think he steps down, and I think this is part one of what he will see as a smoother exit from the Justice Department. Because if he had continued the prosecution up until where Trump was inaugurated, Trump would get rid of both the investigation, pardon himself, and get rid of Jack Smith. And I think they are actually just trying to make things smoother for themselves and the American public for when Trump takes office.
All right, so this is kind of a two-parter here, Rachel. What kind of precedent does this set? And then what does this mean potentially for the other cases involving Donald Trump?
So as far as the federal level, as we know, the president appoints the head of the DOJ, appoints the attorney general, and then the attorney general is in charge of that entire office. So from a federal perspective, for the federal cases, this sets a precedent that you can't really investigate a sitting president, that there's no one there that will support that. And especially given the immunity for presidential acts that the Supreme Court ordered earlier in this year, I think a sitting president is fairly safe from any kind of federal prosecution. As to the state cases, the federal government does not have control over those prosecutors, and in theory, they could proceed.
So in theory, they could. Are they likely to proceed, do you think?
Well, the hush money sentencing was set for after Trump is no longer president. So that the New York case has basically been set where he was already convicted. In Georgia, I think that will be an interesting call. What happens there? Will they continue against all of the other defendants, but not against Donald Trump? Will they put the entire case on hold while Trump is president? I think the Georgia authorities have a lot to kind of work through to determine how they could best proceed.
All right, and last question for you. I mean, is this something that was kind of expected, not only in Washington, but just beyond? Did everybody kind of see this coming?
There was really no way for the case not to be dismissed once Trump took office because he would fire Jack Smith and pardon himself. So that would be, that case was dead. That case was dead as soon as Trump won. It's just, this is a smoother way for this to happen, is by voluntarily dismissing the case and probably stepping down at some point.
All right, well, attorney and legal analyst Rachel Fiset, we certainly appreciate you weighing in. Thank you.
Thank you.